So thank you so much, Rajdeep and Savan, for joining us from the Keyshade community. I think we can start with the code walkthrough session now.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Yeah, about why Keyshade and how we got to it. So Keyshade started as a side project. Okay, in the late of 23 to 2023, because I mean I was in my college at that time. Okay, preparing for my final semesters, and then uh, I was studying about cryptography. Okay, and then I stumbled across this issue because well I too am a developer. Okay, and I get the issues of managing our configurations. Okay, for whatever application that we are building and whatever we are doing. So maybe you're contributing to an open source project, so in that case you'll have to set up a bunch of configurations that they have. Okay, so basically setting up the env file, and then let's say you have joined maybe you have joined a company or something. Okay, so in that case also you'll be needing to you'll need a manager to send you the credentials, and then you'll need to set them up, and then you'll need to work on them. Okay, so I kind of saw that these things are a blocker. Okay, and also aside from this I also thought about the point of security. Okay, I mean some there at that point of time. Okay, at that point of time I didn't have any idea about how can we make this top class secure or anything like that. I just had two things in mind, that I'll need to make this secure enough but not that difficult to use. Okay, and the other one is I'll need to make it easy enough so that everyone can understand it and easily grab the concepts. Okay, so that's when I started working on the very core functions of it. Okay, so I was writing plain javascript code. Okay, I didn't use any typescript or didn't use any kind of fancy frameworks or anything. I just got the proof of concept established. Okay, I tested the concept with some dummy values and whatnot, and then I went to Savan. So Savan is my junior at college. Okay, he's still at college right now, and so I talked to him. So I told him like, this is a project that I've been thinking about. Okay, I think this might have a good prospect, or I mean, at that point of time, we both wanted to get into the open source community, so we both wanted to have something to show for. So Keyshade gave us the way. Okay, so then we got together and then we decided on upon the name. Okay, we had a talk with a few other friends of ours, and then we came up with this name, and then we started working on it. So at that point of time, we didn't have many confidence. So then, yeah, that's how it began. Okay, and right now this is how it's going. Okay, I mean, we got a lot of stars, more than we expected, and the community support has been really overwhelming. Okay, and especially after we tied up with FOSS India, the support has been even more. I mean, sometimes it gets difficult to manage them. Okay, because I mean, in a single day I'm getting like 10 to 15 emails about people getting themselves assigned to the issues, and then people submitting PRs, and then Discord notifications and all of those things. Okay, so the journey has been great. Okay, I mean, it's really great from our end. Okay, I mean, I mean, this is the only time that it feels good to be busy and not be bothered about it. So yeah, it definitely gives us a purpose in our lives. Sawan, you want to add something to that? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, we are recently gonna launch it soon. So also internally the things are going fast.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, we are soon gonna ship some major features. So yeah, that's the thing that is going on.
No, I'm so happy to hear that you guys are sort of happy with the case that you are getting more requests and requests to work on issues. So on one side of launching this kind of a program along with FOSS Hack, we were sort of concerned if it will lead to a lot of spam PRs or spam uh, you know spam requests to work
Yeah.
on issues or things like
Yeah.
that. That thing is actually there, but uh, how the maintainers sort of picked this up was also a feedback that we were waiting to hear, and so great, so happy to hear the comments from your side. Yep,
Yeah,
we
I mean,
can continue.
uh, okay,
Sorry,
okay.
sorry,
So
Ramesh.
far, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. No worries. So far, I mean, I haven't had any chance to complain at the contributors. Okay, I mean, sometimes it does feel like the PR would have been a bit better in the initial when they made it. But then also, I mean, I'll need to understand that they don't know anything about this project. Okay, they don't know anything about the code base. So then their their mentality would be to get the thing done and make sure that it's working from their end. So there might be other cases that they think that they have covered but then they didn't cover them. So yeah, that's something that happens most of the time, and that's okay because even before I've launched, I mean, I started with Keyshade. I've been an open source contributor for a long time now. Okay, I mean, I still contribute to open source projects, so I kind of understand how it works. Okay, like I try to get my things done and then I break the code, and I talk with the maintainers a lot. Okay, because it's really difficult to work without talking to them. So yeah, I think the the thing that I wanted to see is people would jump in to actually solve something. They would bump into challenges and then they would come to us. Okay, then work in collaboration with us. So that was the thing that I aimed for. Okay, and not stupid PRs. Okay, so I mean, it's totally fine if the PR doesn't work. Okay, it's totally fine if it's not up to the mark. We are there to help it out. Okay, but we just wanted them to come to us and then talk about the problems, which is working really great till date. Okay, so that's the only thing that I was worried about when I joined this event.
That's
Yeah,
wonderful to hear that. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Thanks to you too. We wouldn't have known about this if we wouldn't have been contacted. Anyways, I'll just then start with the code review. Okay, just wait up. Yeah, I think this. Okay, I think it's sharing, right?
Yep.
All right, great. Okay, so I'll just zoom in. Okay. Um, I think maybe it will be better to go through the repository first and then just give a little workaround about how to do the general things. Okay. Then I'll start the deep dive into the code about what it is and what it is not. So yeah, so this is the repository. Okay, I'll maybe I'll drop in the links in the chat. That might help. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this is the repository. So there are, we currently we have four applications, if I name them so. So right now we didn't, I mean, we couldn't yet launch the place that where you could actually go to through the web and then use the application. We still are doing that using the API and the CLI. Okay, and the web interface is still under construction. Okay, but yeah, that will soon be done. Okay, so yeah, so here is everything. Okay, in the apps folder. So in the apps folder you'll find everything that is there to be explored about. Okay, so all of the issues that come up inside the issues tab will generally be from these four folders, and to be very precise, from these three folders. Okay, so we have the API. Okay, which is uh, the backbone of our entire infrastructure. We have a CLI that is based on, I mean, the entire project is based upon Node.js, and then um, uh, all the frameworks that are based on Node.js. So there is uniformity across the entire thing. So that's not an issue. So yeah, the backend is based upon Nest.js, Nest, and then the CLI is made using two major tools. One is Commander.js, and then the other one is Clack, that is used for the DX purposes. Okay, and Commander is for passing the commands. Okay, then we have the platform and the web, which are the front end applications, and we will be adding more front end applications on the go. We have some plan, but still we couldn't come up with them. Anyway, so the platform is the place where we are planning to, I mean, we are having all of the concepts like, interacting with our application, like signing up, or maybe creating projects, or creating secrets or anything. So everything will go inside here. Okay, and then at last, we have the web, which you can find in keyshade.xyz. That is the page that gets hosted, from the web folder. Anyway, so that is about the folders. Are just a brief overlook. And then, as for the, other things, as in, how to find the issues, and how to make the pull request. So if you go into the issues tab, we discussed that we'll be having a FOSS Hack label. Okay, and under these you can find all of the issues that are registered for I mean, that are, meet the criteria for FOSS Hack. Okay, so all of the issues are listed in here, and some of them do have the PRs associated with them, which we got to know about later on, that that isn't okay. So yeah, many of the PRs were taken down, okay, so that they can actually work in the hackathon window. And then, yeah, this is what it is. Okay, right now we don't have in much more issues left out, but I did plan to add more issues today, from the evening after I get over. I mean, after this meeting. Okay, so yeah, that's something. Okay, so what you want to do is, if you want to attempt any issue that you think that you might be able to come up with the solution, what you'll need to do is you'll just need to go into the issue. Okay, and just check that if there are any if there is anyone assigned or not. Okay, if there's no one assigned, and then there's no PR linked to it. Okay, so this one has a PR, sorry. um let's say this one. Okay, let's say there's no one assigned, and then there is no PRs linked to it. What you can do is, you can just come in here, and please make sure that you don't spam this thing, because this is actually made so that, you don't need to wait for approvals. So what you'll need to do is, you'll just need to do this. Okay, and once you do this, you'll be automatically assigned to this issue. Okay, if no one is assigned to it right now. I mean, this is from a child issue, and both of the child issues are assigned, so I am not doing this right now. But if you feel that you can attempt, I mean, something that is something is in your domains and you can solve it, just make this command, and then it will be automatically assigned to you. So that is something we worked on. And then, about developing the code. So there are some general pointers that I like to point out in here. First is, we have an in detail documentation about what Keyshade is and how to get it up and running. Okay, so you can find it in docs.keyshade.xyz. So I'll just drop in the link in the chat. Okay, all right, is the link. And yep, so everything about our project. Okay, so be it why we started it, okay, what problem we are trying to address, and then what is the solution that we are bringing to the table, everything would be listed in here, along with the this section. Okay, this is the most important one. So how to actually start contributing to Keyshade. Okay, so I mean, I've seen many contributors who actually run into the trouble of, setting things up easily. So this is the section that you want to read about before you get started with the code. Okay, we have maintained all of the documentation and all of the issues that we have encountered till date. Okay, and this includes some general pointers that have been faced by the previous contributors as well. Okay, so we continuously improvise on this thing. We continuously maintain this thing, so you can always expect this to be updated as per the latest things. Okay, so we have all of the organizations in here. So whatever our code has. Okay, so you can find that, we maintain a detailed description about what the project, I mean, what all applications that we have, just like I talked beforehand. And then, yeah, there's one thing missing in here. I'll be adding it soon anyways. Yep, so yeah, these three things. Okay, there was another thing. I think the packages was not included. Package and platform, anyways, I'll include that as well. So yeah, in here you can find the details. Okay, so under the design of the code, you'll find all the details. So for example, the stack that we are using. Okay, so as you can see, we are using Nest.js, Prisma, and then Node Mailer. the notable stacks. Okay, so all the stacks, I mean the frameworks, the notable frameworks that we are using to make something, and also along with that the general structure that we are following in the particular module. Okay, so you can expect to find all of those details about the particular module, and then anything that is to be specially pointed out, that too you can find under here. Okay, along with this thing. Okay, so this is the same for the CLI and then the web layer and everything. Okay, so everything that is needed to be, before you start developing, you need to know about them. So everything is listed in here. So that is just a one-stop shop for you. Okay, so before you get started, what you need to do is, you need to clone the repository. Okay, I mean that's simple. You can just go in here, copy the HTTPS or the SSH link, and then just clone it into your local device. Okay, once you have done it, okay, what you need to do is you need to go in here. Okay, in the environmental variables thing. Okay, and then there is a file called .env .example in here somewhere. Where did it go? Yeah, this one. What you need to do is you'll need to make a copy of this. Okay, so I've seen many people asking about what all details should I have or not. Okay, most of the things that are required are already pre-filled in here. Okay, so 9 out of 10 times you won't need to change anything in here. Okay, so be it the database URL or the Redis URL or anything in here, everything is already set up. Okay, you don't need to change anything. What you do need to change is listed in this thing. Okay, sorry, in here. Okay, so if there is anything that needs to be changed and that is required as well, so that gets displayed in here. Okay, I think it's not here actually. uh okay, that's bad. Okay, that's not listed. Okay, so there's one thing that you can try to actually find out the errors. Okay, so our API, okay, whenever you run our backend, okay, I'll show you how to run that, and no worries. If there's something missing in your env that's required but it's not present, then it will throw an error. Okay, it will show the error and will show all of the fields that are missing. Okay, so if for example if I remove this thing, okay, the admin email, it will show you that the value for admin email is missing. So then you can fill it up, and what does this value do and how can you get it? All of those things are written in here. Okay, so you can just look up the this thing, this entire table, to understand what the variable does and what it and how to fill the value, so you can easily come up with the values. Okay, so that is one thing about setting up the environmental variables, because that's the most challenging part I feel. And apart from that, the infrastructure that we need. Okay, so all the other things, as in databases, and then uh, buckets and networks and all of those things, everything is already set up in our Docker containers. Okay, so in this file, in the Docker Compose file, so everything is already set up. You won't need to download and install Postgres or Redis or anything to get started. You can just download, I mean clone our repository and then get started with the simple Docker Compose up command. Okay, so in here it will I mean in this page you can see all of the steps, okay, that you are required to take in order to get started. So once you have done installing the prerequisites, so our prerequisites are simple. It's pnpm and then turbo. Okay, so that's all we need, and also Docker, since you'll need to use it. So once you're done, okay, you'll need to set up the Docker containers. Okay, and this is the single command that you'll need to issue to set everything up. And I've seen that many contributors face issue with Postgres, as in they already have a Postgres instance running on their device but they don't know about it, or maybe that's running for some purpose. And so in that case, you need to make sure that that Postgres instance isn't running, okay, isn't up and running. If that's the case, then Keyshade will cause errors. Okay, I mean you won't be able to see the data getting changed, or you won't be sometimes even able to generate the migrations or something. Okay, so that's bad. So always ensure that these ports are free. Okay, and then here are 2 points that we uh, that we advise you to do when you are setting up your Postgres and you're getting some errors. So these are the 2 points that always worked out. Okay, so if you feel that yours is getting some error, then just do use these two things, and then it will get up and running. And then once you're done with developing and everything, you can just Docker compose down, and then the entire infrastructure will be destroyed, so it won't take up any extra memory or something. And then we have documentations about each and every package that we have. Okay, so each and every application and each and every package that we have. So for testing and then for development, local development as well, all the commands that are required, so everything is compiled in here. Okay, so first of all, you need to set up the database. Okay, so we are using Prisma for our database, and this is under the API layer. So when you are running the API, I mean, this is the first thing that you want to get up and running, because without this it's nearly blind coding, because everything depends upon the API. Okay, so this is the first thing that you should get up and running. Okay, the API. So first you'll need to do the generate types. Okay, so this will generate the Prisma types so that your code can infer the kind of database, I mean kind of types that you're using in your database. And then you'll need to deploy the migrations. All of the migrations are already generated, until and unless you have worked on any newer migrations that you'll need to create and then deploy, so that's something else. That's included in the package.json script as well. So yeah, well, you need to deploy the migrations, and then you can get started. Okay, and then here's the part about testing your code. We really emphasize a lot on testing our code, because we found a lot of errors when we were not having our tests up and running, but then once we had them, we saw a lot of errors. So we are really strict with our tests. Okay, so before you are making any PRs, and then like you have made a change, and then now you want to make a PR, so it's always advised that you run the tests. Okay, that's one thing. And then it's oops, this page isn't working yet. Anyways, so I'll fix that as well. Yeah, so the CLI is something that's also under construction, and then there are a lot of open issues regarding the CLI, and not all of them are under FOSS. So FOSS Hack. So if you want, then you can always help us develop the CLI, because this is the easiest part of using our application um, without the UI. Okay, so the CLI is it's really concise. Okay, and then it's really easy to use. We've made it like that so that the commands are
Just a,
easier to remember.
just a small
Yeah.
thing. The
Hmm.
run command in this CLI is actually backdated. So that is something we
Yeah,
have to update.
exactly. Yeah, you will need to update this as well. Okay, so there are a few inconsistencies in the documentation right now. Okay, as soon as this meeting is over, I'll update them right away. Okay, so no worries about that. Anyways, you can always expect to find the commands updated in here, and yeah, that's all. Okay, so yeah, that's about the CLI. So our issues, if you just look into our issues tab, you can find that we have scoped all of our issues. Okay, so all of our issues are prefixed with the scope of change. Okay, so if it's related to the API, then it will be having the API tag, and then if it's related to something else, then it will have something prefixed with it. So you can easily understand which scope, I mean, what is the scope of the change that will be affected by this issue. Okay, if you try to attempt it or not. Okay, so this is something that you that I like to point out. Okay, so just make sure that you are comfortable with the stack before you get started. So this is something that will help you understand it better. Okay, and yeah, there's a difficulty tag as well. So if you feel that you'll need to start somewhere small, then start with difficulty 1, 2, 3, and then if you are absolutely confident about the code, then you can choose with difficulty 4 and 5. Okay, so yeah, that's something. And where was I? Okay, so about the API testing, we have a Postman collection, okay, up and running, and also we have the documentation, I mean updated documentation, so that you can actually test out your APIs. Wow, this isn't working again. All right. Yeah, I'll just fix this as well. I think it's not working for some reason. I'll just show you the API directly. So once you click on the link, the updated link, I don't know why isn't it working right now. So you can find something like this, that you'll land up in this kind of a page. Okay, and then you'll need to select from the controllers, and then you can actually test them out. And for every controller, okay, so for example, maybe I'll go with the environment controller. Okay, so for every endpoint that we have, we have a list of examples. Okay, so the successful responses and then the errors that might occur. Okay, so everything is compiled inside Postman, so you can so in case you are developing the API, or maybe you are creating something else that requires the API, so you can always refer the responses from here, and these responses are up to date, so you don't need to worry about inconsistencies. So in case you don't want to call the API, but you just want to make sure that your type references are set up correctly, this is the place that you want to refer to. Okay.
Yasif, everyone is
Yeah.
asking to zoom up a bit because I don't think you
Oh,
can
sorry,
see
sorry.
clearly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my bad. I forgot.
no worries.
Yeah, so this is the place. Okay, so under every controller, okay, there is this endpoints, and then under every endpoint, not all the endpoints because I couldn't get to create everything. Okay, so most of them are done, but some are left out. But for every endpoint, there are examples. Okay, so for the examples, you can always assume them to be up to date, okay, with the types. So in case you are let's say you are making the UI for environments, so in that case you'll need to understand what kind of data the API will consume and what it will respond with. So in that case, without even calling the API, you can just look at the type references from here, and then make relevant TypeScript interfaces or types in your code, and then continue your work. Okay, so the body is in here, and then if you zoom this out, not this one, where did it go? I think to zoom out a bit. Oh yeah, sorry, this one. So in here, okay, in the description itself, okay, if you also click here, you'll get to understand that we have the list of required and optional body request body parameters, and then the description that what it does and what it is meant for, and then also inside parameters you'll find the description as well. Okay, and if there are some anything else, so for example path variables or anything, you'll have the description as well. And for the authentication, there's something. Okay, we are using cookies for authentication, but under the hood it's a JWT token, so you don't need to explicitly pass it. Okay, whenever you are signing up to our endpoints, okay, and you sign up using the auth controller, okay, these two endpoints specifically, so no matter if you have a account or not, you'll just call this one first with your request data. Okay, so for example the email, and then you get an OTP on your email, and then you'll enter that OTP in this one. Okay, validate OTP endpoint, and then this will send you the data. Okay, so for example, if you have successfully authenticated, then this is the data that will be sent to you. And then along with that, there'll be a cookie. I mean, it will send you back a cookie that will be stored
Yasif,
in. Hmm,
can
yeah.
we like run the front end and show them a kind of demo on how the
Hmm,
feature works? Because I think that way it
the
will not
front
be
end,
able
is it tied up?
tied up with identity.
Um,
I mean, you
I,
can like run the front end.
yeah, I'll be running it. No worries.
Okay, okay.
I'll be getting to it. Yep. So, okay. So that is about the where and what. Okay. So these are the places that you can refer to once you. I mean, if you feel that you have a problem or you might want to refer something. Also, there's our Discord community. Okay. There's there are a lot of people in our Discord community as well. So we have a specialized category for FOSS contributors. So you can just do FOSS, and then this is the place that you can refer to if you want to talk internally with us. So yeah, that's always an open option. And yeah, that's about how to get help and how to get started. And then actually when you're trying to get started, okay, so this is how your code will look like. I'll just open it up. Just wait. I hope it's visible, right? Okay. All right, so these are the sections. Okay, so for my case, I have got all of the ENV set up. Okay, I can't show them to you, of course. Yeah. Anyway, so we can just get started with it right away. Okay, so for the scripts, you can just refer to this. Okay, the root level package.json. In here, you can find the scope. I mean, the commands are scoped. Okay, so since it's turbo, it's a monorepo setup. So all of the commands are scoped with, the thing that it will impact. So for example, if you want to start the API, okay, so then it will be the dev colon API, okay, and then if you want to start the platform or something like that, then it's different. So all of the commands you can find under here in the same format. Okay, it's repetitive so that it's not confusing. So I'll just get started with the API first. Okay, so that's it. It's easier to understand. So yeah, the first things first, I'll get my Docker up and running. So if you are on Windows, and then you'll need to first start your Docker engine. If you are on Linux, then it's your Docker service, the Docker daemon, that will automatically be registered if you have not disabled it by, I mean, explicitly or something. So yeah, so Docker compose up, and then this D is not that necessary, but yeah, it will just detach the process so that you can always have your um, terminals free. So once these are started, you can expect to find all of these things, or all of the containers listed inside your Docker engine. Okay, so in here, as you can see, all of the containers are listed, and they just got started. Okay, 7 seconds. So yeah, so this is as simple as that. Docker got started, and then you don't need to explicitly fetch the environments into your into your terminal or anything. It will be automatically picked up. Okay, so let's get started with our API. Okay, so let's say, sorry, my bad, pnpm and then dev and API. So this is the command that will get the API up and running. Okay, so before you do anything, you'll need to make sure that you have run pnpm install. Okay, because without that, none of the dependencies will work, and then this will throw up some error. Okay, so you don't want that. So yeah, this takes some time initially when you are starting it for the very first time. It will take some time, but then uh, mm, for the next time onwards, it won't take as much time as it does in the first one. Okay, and in general, it's a bit slow for Windows. I don't know why. We still, I mean, since we didn't develop the entire application on Windows, we are not exactly sure about how it performs. Okay, so yeah. Okay. Um, okay. This last line means that your application is up and running. So the API is always on port 4200. Okay. So your API is now up and running, and now you can also test your the, you can always see that if it's running or not. So there is a health controller. Okay. If I go inside Postman, then there's a health controller that you can always use to see if it's running or not. I'll just launch a Postman. Just wait. Okay. So I think it's in here, the health checkup. So if I do this, it should send this up and 200. Okay. So that will mean that the API is up and running. Okay. And we always, when you are doing the test with Postman, okay, we will encourage you to set up the environments. Okay. So right now, as you can see, there are a few environments with us. Okay. So you'll need to set this up. Okay, you don't need the JWT, you just need the base URL, which is for the backend. Okay, so the base URL is always http colon slash slash this one. Okay, so this thing you need to set it up. Okay, and that's all that you need to do to actually get started with Postman, and then the rest of the things will be handled by it. Okay, and okay, so I'll just turn up another terminal and then try to see if the front end works properly. I don't know. I haven't worked on it for a long time. Um, okay, I think it was dev, and then Okay. Yep. So the front end is always up and running on 3025. Okay. For now, it's on 3025. So you can just go in here and then the first boot will take up some time because this is built upon Next.js. Okay, both of our front-end applications are built on Next.js, so this will take a bit of time. But then once it loads up, then it will be smooth enough for you to work on.
And Next.js is kind of slow. You all know that.
Yep.
Like the dev of Next.js is bad.
Okay, it's done, I guess. Yep. All right, so it's done. I'll just test it with my email. Mm,
Razik, your API is not up.
are you sure?
Yep, you haven't started the API.
I did here. Okay, I think the this one isn't set. Just hold up a bit. I think the backend URL isn't set because yep, backend isn't set. Hold
Yeah,
up.
because you changed that to env cmd, and that is like in that way, uh, your Next.js can't read the file. You have to get the thing from here and then set it up in the platform repository.
I don't think so. Actually, I didn't specify that.
Actually, next doesn't look into other .env files.
Okay.
So what you need to do, no, it won't come. It won't
Let's
happen.
okay, let's see once. I mean, I missed out on this env file. Okay, it's the environment because it it wasn't present, and then I have to add it to the example
Yeah.
file, but
So
then I
it's
couldn't upload it.
uh, so
Yeah.
what you have to do is you just have to go to platform and make a env and like, put the next public patch on it, and that way it will work.
Okay. Yeah, it worked. Anyways, so
Nice.
yep. So this is your email. I'll just zoom in, and then this should get you up and running. Okay, with your basic layout. Okay, so it's really empty right now, as you can see. Okay, we don't have much, and even the data is a bit hard coded, I would say. Okay, not all, but some of it is hard coded. The UI is made out of ShatCN. We couldn't invest much time into building a proper Figma files and all of those things. So most of the things you see in here are hard coded. Okay, but yeah,
Yeah.
we are
So
working. Yeah, go on.
so so basically, we use Shatson because we don't want to make our own design system right now, because they already have a design system, so we don't want to invest time there. And the parts for the team section, there the data is hard coded. So we have a issue for that. If anyone want to work on that, they can. Uh, and we also have an issue of like creating a new project and creating secrets and all that. So
Hmm.
if anyone would like to work on that, they can. And next, so there are a lot of issues that is there to be made for the front end, and we really encourage
Yeah.
uh, like the front end developers to work on it, because apparently me and Rajdeep is completely busy on finishing the API and the CLI part ready, because
Hmm.
we're gonna launch a major update for the CLI, and after that, we're hoping that you guys will be able to use Keyshade in your production.
Yep. Because
So
the CLI is the only thing that will get your application up and running. Okay, I mean
yeah,
right now at this point of time, if you want, you can always use Keyshade. Okay, I mean it's deployed. Okay, the API is deployed, and then as for the CLI, if you want, you can always build it. Okay, on your own. We couldn't build it right yet. Okay, but it is working. Okay, and if you want, you can always use it in your application. So about the commands, okay, for the CLI, okay, you can refer to this section, okay, in our documentation. I think, where did it go? Oh boy. Um,
So for now, we're just calling all the front end developers on the house.
Yeah, so I mean, most of the issues that we have right now that are pending as well is from the platform. Okay, and people aren't taking up because of. I mean, I totally get it why people won't take up the front end issues because we couldn't give them the Figma designs, but you
Yeah,
won't need to worry about that because uh, we don't have much designs. Okay, everything that we have is from HCN itself. So I mean, most
yeah,
of the
and also,
components. Yeah.
yeah, most of the things that are needed to be set it up is ready. Like what the part that is left is they just have to call the backend and integrate it.
Yep.
So the integration part is only left.
Yep. Okay, as for the CLI, okay, there are I mean, for now there are three commands, and then we have one PR that's pending verification, and then after that we'll have four commands for now. Okay, so you can read about what all those commands does and how the CLI works in general from here. Okay, so I mean, if you really want to use Keyshade, to test it or something, you can. The I mean, the CLI is the only place that will allow you to do so. Okay, I mean, in the long run as well, CLI is the only thing that will help you. I mean, that will enable you to use Keyshade in your applications. Okay, I mean, that's the very code of our product. Okay, so the mostly there is this run command that will actually do all of your things. Okay, so let's say there is a project that you want to run, and then there are environments in it, and then of course you'll need to set up the environment files in your cloud provider. Okay, so instead of doing that, what you do is, instead of managing each and every environment, what you need to manage is you'll need to manage just two environments. Okay, just for Keyshade, and then the rest of the things will be automatically managed by Keyshade. Okay, and also, like, restarting the thing. Okay, restarting your project. So if I mean, if you have worked with uh, major cloud providers like AWS or Azure, you'll know that if you change the value of something, then you need to restart the service. Okay, so with Keyshade, that is automated. Okay, you don't need to restart the entire service, only the command will be restarted, and that won't take as much time as it takes for restarting the entire service. Okay, so that is something that is already baked into Keyshade, and you don't need to make any other changes to actually do that. So that's already inside, that's already present. So this is the command that you'll need to use to run any project that you want. Okay, so Keyshade run, and then inside this. Okay, you don't need the braces. You'll just specify the command and it will start working as expected. Okay, so that's the very, I mean, since we started just, I mean, it's really in the early stage, so most of the things are scattered, but our issue, all of the issues that we have are very well tailored, so that anyone and everyone can pick them up, and we actively monitor around the troubles that anyone face, and then helping them out with all of the resources that we can, because we are just two developers that are working on this project, and then uh, there isn't much work done that we can show it to you. Okay, I mean, the API is done, but we can't show it to you because, well, you can't see the API except from Postman, of course. Okay, but then the CLI is something that we can show to you, but then it isn't built. I mean, it isn't published in in the npm repository or something like that. Okay, so that's where all of our issues lie. Okay, and then we have issues for each and every problem that we are stating to you right now. Okay, so I mean, this is the only I mean, we're doing this with the hope that this will encourage you to take up the issues, because they are not that daunting. Okay, however daunting the project might look, but it's not at all daunting, because we use strict type checks in all of the places. Okay, so anything that any command or any file that you open up, you can always see that there is strict type checking in each and every line of the code. Okay, we don't let anything go unchecked. Okay, so that will help you to easily understand what's happening, and I mean, if there's some error or not. Okay, so yep, that is what we want to share with you. Okay, so the CLI, the platform, these are the two things that we are focusing on right now to develop. And then apart from that, okay, there is one more thing that we are working on. Okay, the API client. So this is as simple as calling all of the endpoints that are listed in here. Okay, in Postman, from TypeScript. Okay. So right now we just have one. Okay, we just have one controller set up, the environment controller. Okay, as you can see, it's really simple. Okay, there is nothing rocket science in here. All of the types are defined inside this thing. So if you cross check, okay, if you cross check with the environment, so let's say the create environment thing, okay, um, if I go in here and then I go into the request body type, so the name and the description. Okay, so in here also we just have the name and the description and then the project ID which under which we want to create this environment. So this is all that we have. Okay, and we are heavily accepting, PRs in these three modules right now. So the API client, the CLI, and the platform. Okay, so it will be really great if you guys can hop on and then help us out in here. And apart from that, if you want any help about understanding what our code does, we highly recommend you to go through this architecture because it's a really well detailed diagram. Okay, we have put in a lot of effort in making sure that these diagrams are easy to understand and then conveys the purpose of what it does. And also, like, if you still can't get it, we are always there to help you out. So do reach us on Discord or email or in the Discord threads, or maybe you can create a discussion on Discord and then we'll just hop in as soon as we can. Okay, so I think that kind of sums up the things. Okay, yeah, I think that's from my end. So Sawan, if you want to add
Uh,
anything else.
yeah,
Oh,
I would like to talk about the project structure that we are following
yep,
because I think
sure.
we skipped over that part.
Oh yeah, maybe. So I'll just stop streaming. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that would work. Well.
Okay, then hold up. Yeah,
So I guess I'm sharing. I think my screen is visible.
yeah, it's visible.
Okay. So for this, what we are doing is we're using Turbo Repo to manage it as a monorepo. So we have two things mainly. One is packages and another is app. Apps is there for all the applications that we have, and packages are the shared configurations that is shared across apps. So, for example, let's say the ESLint files are something that is shared across apps. So the Next.js and everything, all these are mentioned here, like the ESLint configurations. And if you come here and if you go to platform, and if you check the ESLint here, then you can see that we are importing the package from this file to there. So this is how we are managing the whole thing. So if you feel like that there are some of the parts which are like used across all the applications, then package is something you have to look into. And the rest of the structures are very standard. So for the web, we are just following the standard Next.js file structure that they follow. For CLI, we have come up with our own file structure, which you can just go through and figure out. It's just like kind of easy. And for the API, we are just using the Nest.js file structure. So that's the thing. If anyone have any kind of issues, we are active on Discord. You can just ping us, and we will try to solve it as fast as possible.
I'll just put in another point to this about the
Ah,
file structures. Okay, the design of our code section and our documentation. Okay, uh, each of the modules that we have listed in there, it covers the file structures as well. Okay, and also the files that we think are important to point out. Okay,
yeah,
so in the CLI, it's a file called base.command.ts. That is the file that lies at the very top of the hierarchy, and it has got a lot of functions and it's an abstract class. So it's really important to understand what that file does and how it organizes everything and how to use it. So if there is something like that, we have already covered it inside our documentation. So it's really recommended that you go through it a bit and then go through the file once. And then also, if you can't understand, then we are always active on Discord, as someone said.
yeah. And we also follow the clean code structure. So we recommend if you do some kind of clean code. That's okay. Okay, so Sumit wants a demo of the CLI. Okay, I can give a small demo. I think it's set good for you.
Yeah, I think we can actually.
Okay, just give me a minute.
I mean, I'm not on my work device, so I don't have the API key configured. So if you can give
No
it.
worries. I think it's there for me. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's why. That's why.
Actually, I was also working as while I was on the call, right? Because
Okay. All right.
yeah,
There's one thing that I just remembered. Before I joined the call, there was someone on Discord that pinged about the issue with API. Sorry, the client is. I'm sorry, the CLI not working. Okay. So in that case,
yeah.
what the about the error? It is basically not able to create a .keyshade folder in your users
Okay.
directory. Okay. So we don't want to, I mean, we already have a PR for that, and that's for FOSS. So we couldn't merge it yet. So if you are facing, I mean, you're bound to face that issue if you are using the CLI. So if that's the case, what you need to do is you'll need to create a .keyshade folder inside your users directory. Okay, so for Linux users, okay, Linux and Mac users, it's under /home/ your username, and for Windows users, so from Windows 11 onwards, it's under the OneDrive folder. Okay, so you go into C/your user slash OneDrive, and then I think it's in there, or maybe I think it's in C/, users, and then your username. So I think that is the folder that needs to have that .keyshade folder. So you need to just create that one folder, and the errors will disappear. Okay. So you don't need to put up another PR for it. We already have it. So that's just one thing that I like to point out.
That's one thing. I don't think I'll be able to show because I forgot that yesterday. Like deleted my previous set it up file and
Okay.
like
I
cloned it
mean,
from
no,
scratch.
it's
So
okay. I think it's okay. I just show the how to run the commands. Okay. I mean, you don't
okay,
need
so
to.
okay, makes sense. So
I
see,
think.
so what you'll have is what you'll have is uh, yeah. So what you have to do is you have to go to the abstract CLI section. Then you just have to do pnpm def and whatever command you want. So let's say I want to see what are the commands that you have. You do this, and it will give you all the command outputs. Now, let's say you wanna have some more details about a particular command. So let's say you wanna see how the profile thing works. So you do npm dev profile.
Okay, Saul, can you just tell them a bit about what the profile does? So that will help.
Okay, sure. So profile is basically so when you are configuring a secret, we have a concept called workspaces. So let's say you have different workspaces set up with different profiles, and like let's say you have a separate account for your work and a separate account for your personal stuff. So using the profile section, you can manage all your profiles individually. So let's say for your office work and stuff, you want to use your office's account for all the things. For your personal project, you want to use a personal profile. So you can do that. You can also set up your default profile. So let's say this computer is for your office work only. So you can set the default profile for your office and have your personal profile as like a site. So this is how the profile thing works. And based on the profile, your secrets will be fetched in a project. So that is how it works. This is what the profile thing is all about. And yeah, like that is the thing. I think someone was having an issue on the for running the CLI. He wants to see the run command. Okay, I would love to, but the thing is not set it up on my machine. So what I have to do, I have to like set it up from scratch. So I think I can do that. It will be a good demo for you guys too. How to set this thing. So what I'll do first is,
I think you don't need
mm,
to set up any applications or anything like that. You can just run the node executable itself. Okay, so pnpm run
no, I mean I have to set up
something
the
like that.
Keyshades thing because
Oh,
nothing is set it up on here. So
uh,
what you have to do is. Keyshade gave API. That is the first. Okay, my docker. Okay, I guess. Okay, wait a second. Wait a second. Let me share my full screen. That will be easy. Is it visible?
Yep, it's visible.
So first, you have to run your docker. You have to docker compose up and start the containers, and then you have to do API. This will start up the API. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open the post and create a account. So you go to the auth controller, send OTP. Okay, I think you have to literally personal account. So I'll go to my email, copy the password, and put it. And with this, okay, and I think I also have to update my profile. This is
After you get signed up, you'll need
okay,
to
confirm, yeah.
update your profile. So it's in the user controller. Okay.
So
Uh,
this update it says
yeah, it's in the
where
user
is this?
controller. Yeah, and then what this does is basically this is for the onboarding steps. So before you can use everything. We have onboarding steps in our platform that we are still to implement. Okay, but just because we have it, so it's this is onboarding finished flag that you'll need to set as true in your update API. Okay, update user API, and then it will start. And you can use all of the other endpoints. Okay.
So what I'll do is I will.
Then
So
next you'll
with
need
that,
to.
you'll have a default workspace set it up, right? So you
Yeah,
can
whenever
check your
you
work.
make a user, okay, whenever you sign up, there will be always a default workspace that gets created. Okay, so yeah, it will its name will be my workspace. Okay, and then you can use the get all user workspace of user endpoint to fetch all the workspaces, and then you get the ID. Okay, grab the ID of the workspace, and then what you want to do is you want to create a project inside this workspace. Okay, that you can do from the project controller. It's
So put a
about, yeah.
creative project
Hmm.
and you have to put the workspace ID
Inside
here.
here, yeah, in the parameters you'll need to put in the workspace ID. Okay, and then inside the body, okay, you'll need to specify all the details. Okay.
Oh, I
uh,
think the things will be set up.
yeah, I think
Okay,
you
let
already
me
have
see.
the thing.
Yeah, let me have a look.
Yeah,
If I have any secrets or not. Right. Is there. So what
so
you have to do is you just have to create a project and stuff.
hmm. I mean, in here, you need to do it manually because we don't have any UI to automatically see. But yeah, if you have any database editor up and running beside you, then you can always check it without running the endpoints. Okay, the fetch endpoints. Anyway, so once you have the project ID, what you can do is you can fetch all of the
I
secrets
can I
that
can
are stored in there.
suggest a good like database visualizer. This is
Yeah.
called Codium. This is a open source one. This is pretty good. You can have it. Okay, so I don't think I have any secrets, so I have to create a secret. And with that, I also have to have the environments. Most of the ID here. Is something not working right? Rasinta, can you help me debug this?
Yeah, I think you already have a secret. So I mean, why not fetch the, you know, fetch all the secrets that you have for this project?
Okay. Okay, let's do that. Oh, acha, I think we missed this part.
Okay, that's odd.
Uh, exactly.
Okay, just go to the project controller. I think this is the workspace ID that you are trying to,
Might be, might be. Let me
just go inside the project
know.
controller and then take the project ID instead of the workspace ID.
No, this is the project ID.
Okay, then just copy the project ID and then, uh,
That's it. So,
okay.
this is the.
You didn't update the endpoint. That's the issue. Remove the secret slash all. Okay, that's outdated. I don't know why,
Oh,
but
acha,
it's
acha.
outdated.
So what's the recent thing? Is it like only secret? Is this right?
Just remove that. It's updated in the latest thing, but I don't know. It's
Okay,
not
see,
updated
I
for
have it.
you.
I have it here.
Okay. Yeah, so
Yeah,
this is
so
a
this is
secret. Okay, I mean, you can always fetch a secret by its ID as well. But yeah, I mean, sorry, we deprecated that one as well. So right now you can only fetch all the secrets of a project. Okay, so yeah, that's it.
cool.
And then what you can do is now, the run command. It is a special command in our case. Okay, so apart from, I mean, for all the other commands, you'll just need to configure your profile. Okay, but for the run command, you need to configure a project also. Okay, so for that, what you need to do is, there's a init command in Keyshade. Okay, so you need to run that. Okay, and then once you have run that, it will ask you for a couple of things. So the workspace name, the project name, and the environment name, which you want to receive updates from. So the run command basically fetches live updates from your Keyshade infrastructure, and then it will automatically inject all of the variables and secrets into your application. Okay, so that's
Yeah,
what
okay, so
we
everything
are
is
going to
there.
demo right now. Okay,
So everything
so
is there.
can you just start configuring with your profile, and then move into Keyshade init, and then move into Keyshade run. I think
Yeah, my
that
profile
will.
is there.
Also, your stream is frozen right now, so if you are doing something else,
Is it working? Is it back?
no, no.
Okay, let me close it and go back. Is it up now?
Yep, it's up.
Cool.
Uh, okay, yeah, it's working.
Okay. So let me see. Uh, okay. So what are we doing is we're setting the Keyshade configuration file in our CLI project right now. So we have to put the workspace name in the list our workspace. Enter the project name, we can name the project name. So let's see. That's the name. This is the name. It's standard. Okay. So we also have to put the EMP name, so you can get all the EMPs from here, but you can also put it. So let's say we want the EMP for this one, for dev. We want to set it up.
Yeah, we have the for every secret and for every variable, you can have n number of environments. So it's not like, a secret is stored under an environment. No, it's not like that. It's the reverse. Okay, so there is a secret, and then you can have five or three or what n number of environments, and then for each and every environment you can specify a value. Okay, and this goes for the same for secrets and then for variables. Okay, so for whatever environment you want to receive the updates from, you need to specify the name in the init command. Okay, and you don't need to remember the flags, because if there is something necessary, if there is some required flag, then it will ask you for the the data. Okay, so you can either specify the flags, or you cannot specify, you may not specify the flags. It either ways it won't matter. Okay, so once your
So here
project.
the
Hmm, yeah, go on, someone, sorry.
yeah, so here the thing is set it up. So now what you can do is you can like list on uh, profiles that you have. So you can use the profile command and you can see what things you have. So you can do this. It's environment list it. So you can just do list. And what this is going to do is it's just going to list all the profiles that you have,
Hmm.
including the default profile you have. So my default profile is this Savan. Just set it up.
So basically,
And
what the init does is it will create a keyshade.json file in your project that will contain all of the configurational values. Okay, but the private key that you specified while creating it, that is sensitive, so that won't be stored in there. That will be stored again in your .keyshade folder in your user's root directory. Okay, so that's one thing. And the other thing is about the profile. So the profile is the one that will allow you to tap into the updates. Okay, it will contain the API key and the base URL, that is the bare bone to connecting. Okay, so that's something.
so yeah, so let's run it and show them how it works.
Yeah, you can just run,
So
pnpm
yeah, uh,
run and then node.
yep, that's what I'm going to do. So see, so here, where it is, where are my secrets?
The secrets,
Yeah.
the get all
So
secret.
if you see, yeah, see, so if you see here, so the secret we have is SMTP key, right? And the value of SMTP key is this
Inside the dev environment.
inside the dev environment. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna run npm run. This will basically shit run and so dev run,
pnpm
and then I'm just gonna do node.
node run node. Yeah, so this will launch the node executable. Okay.
Wait,
Okay, what is this?
what just happened?
Cannot read. This is for SWC.
Very good.
I think it's for. Did you run npmi?
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean everything is set it up. Yeah, it is working.
because
It
it
was
you
working.
switched to SWC, so I think maybe you didn't run
Yeah,
pnpm install.
this is. I mean, I am like working right now, so
Oh,
it
that's
was
fine.
working. But then I don't know why it failed. It just cannot read the property undefined of what base
Mm,
command. Have we changed something in this command?
I don't
No.
think that something got changed or something. Maybe. Um, I'll
I'm not
test
sure
it
what just happened.
once.
I do this.
Mm, okay.
Rajdeep, hi, I'm
Yeah.
sorry to intrude.
Yeah,
So
I
since
know. It's
No worries.
no, I was just checking in if we could, move on to the issues if this is taking up some time.
okay then.
No,
Yeah.
the reason being because the recording limit for Jitsi is
Hmm.
basically 80 minutes, and
Oh, okay.
if we could keep it all under a single recording and we could check this out after the recording stops. Sorry.
Sure.
No worries.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, I mean that was totally unexpected. We didn't expect it
Yeah, I
to
mean it was
crash
working
right now.
fine. Yeah.
Anyway, so okay, so I'll just give a brief about what happens next after that. So once you run that, it will start up your node executable. Okay, so it's like running node in your terminal. Okay, and then it will allow you to play with JavaScript exactly the way like your browser console allows you to. Okay, so that's what would have happened, and then we would have issued a command like process.env and then .smtp creds or something like that. We would have got the value that is present right now. Okay, and then what we would have done is we would have updated the secret from our API. Okay, using Postman. So next, when we would have put things on yeah, so it would have been just smtp mail or something like that. So this is the value that we would have generally used in our node.js code, right? So if we would have done this, right? Yeah, I think he turned off his screen share. Anyways, yeah, so if we would have
Yeah,
done
sure.
this, we would have got the initial value. Okay, so if it's 10 or I mean whatever the value is, but when we change the value in Keyshade, we don't need to change anything in our code. That's the essence of the things. Okay, you don't need to make any other code additions. Okay, you just need to use whatever and use whatever syntax that your programming language requires you to fetch from
I mean,
environments, and then
basically, it's
hmm,
like a hot reload, right?
yeah, exactly.
Basically, it's like a hot reload. So it is not actually reloading it, but it is like just changing the value live,
Hmm.
on the runtime.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So
That's
it
how it
would
is.
have been updated on the fly. So that's what the run command does. Okay, so it executes your things on your behalf. Um,
So therefore, it's
just
run the
putting.
command.
We can. Yeah, I think
You can say that.
we can put
You
it
can say
like
that,
that.
I guess, but not not completely.
Not a
But you can say
total
that.
wrapper. Yeah, not a total
Yeah.
wrapper. I would say. Okay, the run command is very small, but yeah, it's still okay. Anyways, I'll just share my screen. Okay, and I'll go through some issues. I think we don't have much because most of the issues were taken up just today. Okay, so if I go into FOSS right now, okay, um, okay, so there aren't many issues right now, but I'll be opening them up as soon as this meeting ends. Okay. So what you want to do is, like let's say you want to attempt an issue. So I'll just go from the very basics to the very advanced. So let's say this one. This isn't occupied. Okay, this isn't taken. As you can see that there's no PR associated with it, and there's no one assigned to it as well. So just click on it and then use this command attempt, sorry, and then this will automatically assign you to the issue. I mean, don't do this unnecessarily. If you feel that you're confident about this, no need to ask us. You can just do this. You can just this issue this command and it will automatically assign you. Okay, after this I'll be changing the status from to do to in progress. Okay, then you can get started with the issue. Okay, so of course you'll see the scope in here. Okay, so what all things you'll need to change, you'll see the scope in here. Once you see the scope, what you can do is you can move into the specific blocks. Okay, so for example, if it's the API, then you need to go into the API and then check out which part exactly you need to change. So for example, this has got to do with the secrets. Okay, so by default you'll be moving inside the secret module. Okay, so since it's nest.js, everything is layered in modules, so everything related to secret you can find it inside the secret module. Okay, so yeah, we have a controller. Okay, we have a service layer, and then we have DTOs to make to and fro transaction of data. We have a E2E test, okay, test series that, I mean, these are the most crucial tests. Okay, so every edge case that we think would have been possible, everything is in here. Okay, and then the service layer is what contains all of our business logic. It's quite a huge class. Okay, and right now it's clean, but it's clean in terms of code and stuff, but there are a lot of opportunities to refactor this code into something much more readable. But yeah, we still couldn't do it right yet anyway. So yeah, you can get the code because we have used inline commands everywhere. Okay, wherever we thought that this might be a bit difficult to understand, we have used an inline command, things like that. There are functions. Okay, there is this authority checker class that is really important. Okay, because everything in our infrastructure, it's based upon role based access control. Okay, so what all projects and what all workspaces you have access to, everything will be controlled by this central class. Okay, so for example, if you want to check that if you have access over a secret or not, so then what you can do is you need to call the there's a function called check authority over secret. I'll just Okay, so if you call this function with the required inputs, as you can see from the type in here, you will get the secret only if it will return you with the secret if you have access to it. Okay, so that's how easy it is to use this class. Okay, it's really important to understand, but then it's really easy to use as well. Okay, so if you want to dive into the hows and whys, then I would say give it a read, and it shouldn't be much difficult to understand. Okay, and yeah, it will be easy to get started as soon as you can. Okay, so for example, in this issue, it's with the rotate after field. Okay, so for the rotate after field, you can just go inside the Prisma module. Okay, so the Prisma module is where we store our database and stuff. So inside the schema.prisma, you can you can look up for the secret model. Okay, so inside the secret, okay, you can see that there is a rotate at field. Okay, so what this issue needs to do you is needs you to do is right now we have the secret rotation. Okay, we have the date time when we want to rotate the secret, but we don't have the the logic that will rotate the secret, and also how we want to rotate it. So this is the issue that encompasses this entire thing, and then uh, asks you to basically build the solution. Okay, so once you start working on it, it's you're always welcome to hop onto our Discord, or you can use the issue chat as well. Okay, that's also fine. Okay, both work for us. Once you are done, what you need to do is you need to write up some tests to make sure that what the feature that you implemented works as expected. Okay, the tests are not difficult. It's really just these this simple. Okay, it's really this small. We have kept the test consistent with being small so that it's readable. So you need to add the tests as well, and once the tests are written, okay, if it doesn't require any changes in the controller, you are very much welcome to put up the PR. Okay, of course in the hackathon window, not before that. Okay, once you open up the PR, so we have a lot of PRs right now. Okay, so once you have made the PR, okay, just don't forget to link the issue that you worked on. Okay, so this is really helpful for us. Okay, so once you have linked the issue, it it goes under review, and then we go through your code. Okay, we add our suggestions. Okay, it's generally in this format. Okay, we ask for a resolution to some things. Okay, we point out the exact things, and then the exact things that we want you to change. So if it's some code, then we add all of those things. Once you're done, okay, once you're done with everything, we mark the PR as done internally. Okay, but we don't merge it yet, of course, because this is related to FOSS Hack, so we didn't merge it yet. Some PRs are still present, but we didn't merge them. So when you are making the PR in the hackathon window, we'll just see if that if we can merge it or not. If we can, we'll just merge it as soon as the checks pass. Okay, so there are some tests related to this thing as well. Okay, so if you are making any change to the API layer, then there'll be couple of scripts that will run. So mostly there'll be this script that will be run in the workflows file. You can find the validate API file, and then see all of the things that are run in the in the runner, okay, in GitHub, so that you can always run it locally as well before you make the push. That's not, I mean, that's not absolutely required, but yeah, that's a good thing to do. So yeah, that's how you can make a PR and then get it merged. And the more you follow the conventions that we use, okay, the easier it is for us to validate your PR and then merge it quickly, okay, because we don't want to make you rework every time you ask for a review or something. So yeah, that's how we are maintaining the things, okay. I hope that that clears the things up, right? Okay, so I think I can stop sharing now. Yeah, I think that was okay, right?
Yep, that was definitely good.
Okay,
And I have to actually say this was one of the most active code walkthrough sessions that we had.
okay,
And
that's something new.
parallelly, yeah, parallelly, I could also see someone was engaging in the chat with all the queries that were coming up over there too.
Yeah.
I'll stop the recording right now and if there are any doubts that could be taken up after after the recording
Oh,
gets stopped, we could spare some time for that as well. But
okay.
thank you so much for this session anyway. It's like so the moment that we plan to have these kind of sessions, we've been trying to schedule with respect to the bandwidth of the maintainers also. And
Yeah,
thank you so much to both Rajdeep and Savan for finding time for host help facilitating
For
a
sure, for
session kind
sure.
of
yeah.
this. Okay,
It was a
so
pleasure.
and I hope that you folks, Keyshade, in fact, will get a valuable experience after through this partner projects program in effect too. All right. So on that, thank you note again.